So I think that we're going to get ready, folks, to start. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Mary Margaret, and I am the lead content creator here at Member Solutions. And today we are going to be talking about how to summer-proof your club. It's going to be a step-by-step session on setting up the types of features within your platform in order to be able to retain and engage your current member base so that they will stick around even during the summer slump. Today, I'm joined by Michael Brandt, which is our project manager, as well as Avery Leary, who is our sales team, as well as Isaac Mejia, who's going to be helping us out with some implementation stuff and doing a really cool demo. So again, hi, I'm Mary Margaret, and I am all about trying to help us to connect with our community, share insights, and help people connect to the information they need so that their gym or dojo or fitness center is able to thrive. Whoops. And I'm going to pass it over to Michael just to say a few words.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I can share my screen here just 1 second. Oh, I can't share right now. You have to.
Oh, my bad. Michael, I was just going to say,
Oh,
just say a few words about yourself.
oh, yeah. Hey, I'm Michael Brandt. I work here in product at Member Solutions. Very excited today to talk about retention playbooks for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We also have Isaac on the line with us. Isaac, you say a few words, please.
Hey, so I'm Isaac. I do all the implementation here at Member Solutions. So if you need training or need help with anything, I'm here to answer all of your questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Isaac. Avery will be joining us a little bit later, but he is all about connecting business owners with the tools they need to run smarter, grow faster, and stress less. He's going to be joining us a little bit later and will be helping us out with Q&A. Before we get started, I did want to let you know that we have some free stuff for you, and we're also going to be sharing it at the end of the presentation as well. But if you're wanting to leaf through them during our conversation today, please feel free to scan these QR codes and you will receive a link that goes directly to these two guides. And don't worry, if you don't get the chance to today, we'll also send them to you in an email tomorrow. But yeah, whoops. That's the last of my slides. So from here, I'm going to pass it over to Michael.
Yeah, awesome. Just 1 second. All right. Sorry, I jumped the gun there a little earlier. So, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining. My name is Michael Brandt. I work in product here at Member Solutions. The next 45 minutes, what we're going to talk about is a problem everyone knows well, especially in the fitness community. It's the summer slump. So, what to actually do about it? We have some time at the end for questions. You can also put those in the chat as we go along. We can answer those at the end. So before we dive in, we'll start with what the data actually tells us about summer attendance. A couple numbers that I looked up that will surprise you, certainly surprise me. Then we'll walk through a playbook your staff can run starting next week. Each step has a screen and member manager and a short script your team can use, and you'll walk away with a nice little playbook that you can use with your front desk. So with that, we'll talk about the summer slump. So first question is the slump even real? So I pulled some data before this, and it is a serious drop off that happens between April to August. So here's what we see in 2024. Total check-ins fell about 13%, and unique members visiting fell 7%. In 2025, it was a bit steeper, so 17% on total visits, 15% on unique members. So a couple things to notice in these. The dip is getting continuously worse, not better. So, as we're recovering from COVID through that time, people are starting to travel more, go out more. So, what we did last summer probably needs to be sharper this summer, and then falling into the next summer as we keep going along. The unique members one is the one I watch most closely. So that's just not regulars coming in less often. That's people leaving entirely. And those are the members that you have at risk of canceling next. So in essence, yes, the slump is real. It's measurable by us, and it's getting more pronounced year over year. It's getting more competitive in this landscape of physical fitness. So we'll talk about the danger zone here. Stat that anchors everything that we're going to talk about. So across the members we looked at, 45% had their last visit within 90 days of canceling. So that's almost half. And a quarter of them cancel within 30 days of going quiet. So you typically, if you don't go somewhere, you're not going to keep that subscription running. You're going to cancel it as you can. So if you pair that with the other thing the data showed us, so cancellations are pretty steady year round. They don't spike in the fall after the summer dip. So the story isn't summer causes a wave of cancellations next quarter. What the story is, in essence, is the attendance drops 15% in the summer. Cancellations stay steady. The gap is the danger zone. The members who stop coming in, but they haven't pulled the plug yet. Today, they're not their problem. In the next 3 months, they will be unless you reach out to them. That 30 to 90-day window after they go quiet, that's where your retention work has to live. I would say hit that window and you save the relationship. But if you miss it and they're gone, and it's once somebody leaves, very difficult to get them back into your club. So that's what this playbook is around. So next we'll talk about the 4-step playbook I mentioned earlier. So 4 steps, same order every summer. So step 1 is spot. You're going to want to use the reports in MM to surface members who've gone quiet weekly, not monthly. So absentee reports, check-in reports, inactive members, that sort of thing. Step 2 is you're going to want to reach out. So you're going to want to have a real conversation. Lead with options, not invoices. Freezing is going to be your most powerful tool here, and most aren't using it. And we can come back to that in a later slide about what that is. And then Isaac will also go through a demo of that. But by far the most powerful tool you can have if you have members who don't want to come over the summer, but you don't want to lose them entirely. It's a very, very powerful tool that we have. Step 3 is to adjust the billing. So if money's the friction, you can use different tools. You can do payment plans. You can do invoice adjustments. And then, like I mentioned before, you can freeze. You can pick the one that fits. So not everything necessarily has to be a freeze. You can do things where you say, okay, I'll run you $50 during the summer, and then we can pick up those payments in the fall once school starts, as opposed to freezing if you wanted to go that way. Step 4, and this is something that doesn't happen at a lot of clubs, ones that I've been in personally, and then ones that I've seen as well, is to reward your regulars. So the members who didn't waiver, that's your best lead source. Your best lead source is word of mouth for replacing the few you'll inevitably lose. So turn engagement into referrals. So with that, offer bonuses, track your referrals, have a referral leaderboard. I've seen that before. So each step has a screen and member manager. None of these are very new features. They're things that we've had for years. And the point of this webinar is to show you the best way to use it during the summer. So with that, we'll start with step 1, and that's spotting the at-risk members. So, first rule there is you can't intervene with someone you can't see. So today, Member Manager gives you the data. The trick is using it weekly. So the report you'll want to lean on most is the absentee report. So that's in the appointment section of the reports. It's going to pull the members who haven't had a scheduled appointment in the date range that you set. And then by then you can filter by staff, by appointment type, or by member type. The cadence that you want to set with your team is weekly. So, 3 buckets, 14, 21, and 30 days since their last visit. 14 days is a friendly check-in. Hey, you haven't been here in 2 weeks. Is everything going all right? How are you enjoying the club so far? Is there any adjustments we need to make? 21 is when you bring up the freeze. And then 30 is typically going to be your last conversation before they slip and they start canceling. Once you have the list, you have 2 ways to act. So you can sort and export the names to call this week. Where I've been before, that's typically what we would do. We would export the names, put the list either at the front desk or in the back office, and then we just kind of go through the names. You assign those to your staff, or you go through those yourself, and you have intimate touches with those members to inquire. And then this is also what you can do as well directly through Member Manager. If you don't want to have the phone conversations, if you just want to send emails or text messages, you can message them directly from the send message drop down on the report. So you can either run the report in Member Manager, use the drop down to message directly through email or text, or you can pull the report through Excel and do that call and email yourself. So in the interest of honesty, I'll tell you that this is a manual pull, so this isn't an automated report that we have yet. So you run it, you read it, you pick the names, and then we'll come back later to what's going to happen on this front as we move forward throughout the future quarters. Other thing your staff should be doing is opening member profiles. When they do, they'll get contextual alerts that surface if you have those set up. So if the member's inactive, it'll be marked inactive. If they have sessions expiring, or they have their contract running out as well, you can set alerts for those within a certain time range. So same way it goes here, right? 1430. They're opportunistic, so only fire when the staff opens the profile. There's not a report that you can run right now that's going to show you all those reports. So I would say make opening those profiles part of your day. Trainers also see live check-ins as the members walk in the door. So somebody checks in, hop in, see the profile, make sure everything's good there. And that's another positive signal that you can use. You can also track each name on your list with a status. So we have a status field that's in the profile page. So you can create those to be called, left voicemail, re-engage, lost, kind of have it, as its own funnel there. You can have that list leave somewhere durable. You can either put it on a shared sheet. You can keep it in the CRM itself. You can put alerts in MM for it if you want. Doesn't matter where you put it. It just matters that it exists and that it gets acted upon and that develops repetition and it becomes part of your employee engagement cycle. In this single discipline, right, the weekly absentee report, status tracking, intimate touches, moves the needle more than any feature I could ship. The most important thing to club members is active engagement from the club itself. That's how you develop rapport and keep and not lose members and eventually grow your club as well. So step 2, we'll talk about reaching out with summer friendly options. So you got your list. Next move is the conversion. And the rule for that conversion is lead with options, not invoices. The last thing that somebody who has canceling on their mind wants to talk about is the money that they owe you. That's typically going to be a sign to them that they could spend their money elsewhere. So here's the headline that we found from the data. Across our active clubs, 78% of our clubs don't have a single member on freeze right now. So in my opinion, and some others here, out of every retention tool in your hands, freeze is the most powerful, and it gets left on the table a lot because either they don't know it's available to use, or they're scared to use it, or they think that that's just the next step to canceling is a freeze. It's just the first step, but it's not. Why does this matter? Why does freezing matter? So it's purpose built for summer. So, if you want to do 3-month freezes, that covers exactly the windows most of your members need. So, kids go to summer camp. If you have college students at your gym, those are typically going home. You have a lot of family vacations that happen during the summer. So what a freeze does is it pauses billing. Contract date extends to what that freeze is. So if you do a 2-month freeze, that contract date extends 2 months to where they left off. So they don't lose what they've paid for. You don't lose them. You don't lose that active income. It's still coming. It's just coming at a later date, but you're at least retaining it. So this is the move that you should be running across all your at-risk clubs this summer. 3 months, pause, see you in September. Like I said, you can always truncate that, make it a little smaller if you want, but 3 months typically covers the summer months there. So the script, what you say. So here's the call your staff makes when they pick up the phone. So if I was calling, I'd say, hey, I think we have Sarah in this one. Hey, Sarah, I haven't seen you much. I know summer gets busy. We got a freeze option for the next 3 months. Keeps your spot. No charges. You pick right back up in September. Want me to set that up? You actively start off the conversation in a friendly freeze tone. Like, I'd love to have you back. I understand things happen. As opposed to, hey, I'm gonna come in. Are you still interested in the club? And then that leads to a cancel conversation. So that conversation multiplied by 10 names a week from your absentee list changes the whole game for you. A few variations of this that you can keep into your back pocket. So for members on a sessions-based product who have unused sessions sitting there, you can always extend those expirations as well. So they paid for those sessions. Let them use in September. What's the harm? You already have that active income that came in for it. You're not losing it. You might as well. You can move it to September if you want, or later in the year. Like I mentioned earlier, for someone who just needs a break but not 3 months, do a shorter freeze. You can do these for different reasons, right? Let's say I go to the gym and I develop a soreness in my knee. So as I get older, that happens more and more. I don't want to do a 3 month break. Maybe I say, hey, can I freeze for this month while I heal up, and then I'll be back in, as opposed to me just developing a debilitating injury where I'll have to cancel or something like that in the longer term. So principle stays the same. Make the next conversation be I need to be a pause, not I want to cancel. They're very different conversations, and the framing decides which one happens. So the freeze flow itself is straightforward. From the member's contract, you just click freeze, pick a start date and resume date, save done. Resuming is the same workflow in reverse. So you just go to that contract and freeze. And Isaac can walk you through that a little later. So, and you can also do this through if you have our full service billing as well. You can send a web note through to us. We can initiate that freeze and then bring it back on later. So next is step 3, making the billing fit the moment. So when money's the friction, not motivation, schedule, just flat out money. The right billing change keeps the relationship alive. Member Manager has a few tools for this, different jobs. So first is a payment plan. You can set that in for the member who can pay, just not all at once. Typically, this can be done through our FSB center. Invoice adjustment. So you can do that for a 1 month relief. Like I said, if you say, hey, I want to keep coming here, but I can't pay this amount this month, you can adjust that invoice and spread that out throughout the life of the contract or to a later date when they can agree to pay. And like I mentioned, freeze, when the whole bill is that issue, you can just use that. So let me go through the first two. So payment plan. You can do this on invoice payment schedules. So you can split these payments. You take a single bill, you split across multiple dates. You can use a template. You can split those up. One note about this is that this is a little more finicky on contracts. You'll typically want to use this just on packages. Second is the invoice adjustment. So this will be in that same general area. This, I think, is a very powerful tool because you're not actively freezing the membership. You're still offering them a chance to come to the gym. It's just they're coming at a different rate this month than next month. Like I said, again, the totality of the contract remains the same. You're just shuffling when that payment is and what that payment amount is. So first, I'll go through what the difference is between a freeze. So the freeze will pause everything, extend the contract. The adjustment, like I said, will let you adjust a single invoice. You can, if you want to, you can bring it down, you can comp it, or you can just change the due date as well without touching the contract end date. So use case for that would be, let's say I've been a member at the gym for, 5 years, had a hardship month, something came up. I come in, I say, hey, I can't pay this month, so odds are I probably can't pay the rest of the contract. I can just say, hey, I can comp you August, I can adjust August to 0, I can move that amount of money to September, or I can just comp it for you altogether and just, hey, you've been a member here for 5 years, here's a free month for you for being open and honest with me, and I still want you to actively come to my club. So to do that, you just open the invoice, click adjusted invoice, and you get a per product breakdown. You can change those amounts. You can change the amount due there as well. There's also a notes field. So if you want to leave a note in there for other staff, or if you have a front desk person that you want to put in notes when you make these changes, you can do that too. Then you save, you change, contract doesn't change at all. Parameters of it doesn't change, just that single invoice. So this is one of the most underappreciated tools in MM, in my opinion. It's surgical, it's audit trailed, it's perfect for summer only relief. It's not just summer only relief. It's perfect for relief in general, for rewarding people that have been with you for an extended period of time that have hardships like we all do. We already went over the freeze, so I won't spend too much time on this. But like I said, useful tool. Contract stays the same. The shifts just move forward. So awesome tool to use. I would suggest that if you're not using it today, you should start using it and start thinking about it and how that could set you up with your current members. So we'll talk about bonus moves here. So a couple things there. We can set up promotions. So one thing about promotions, again, this isn't a contract thing. It's more of a package and an item level. So what you can do here is you can set up, instead of putting somebody into a contract where you say, hey, for the next 12 months, 6 months, you have to sign a contract that's going to continuously go. You can run a summer promotion and say, hey, for the next 3 months, you sign this package. You get access to the club for a discounted rate. So what that also does is it gives you money in hand now. You're not operating on a MRR model. You're more operating on a paid in full cash in hand model, which can help you in certain ways if you like that. And also it allows you to bring in prospects without committing to signing a full contract. So, I come home for the summer. Let's say I'm a senior in college. I'm coming home for the summer. I want to try the gyms out in my area. I know I'm going to move there when I get done with college in a year. I can sign up for a summer class pack, a 4-week intro. Then I can maintain that relationship while I'm gone. I can maybe come back and do day passes and stuff. And then when I come back and I graduate and I come back to town to live, maybe then I sign a contract then. And also what this does, builds your fall and winter pipeline. So it gets prospects in the door. It's a low commitment trial. Then you can try to convert them in September when there's less hustle and bustle going around. Promise payment. So this is another offering that is only done really through our FSB model. But this one's also for a very specific situation. So let's say you have a member who's about to lapse, money's tight. They say, I don't want to ruin the relationship we have. I want to leave the door open to come back. It's a real conversation. It shows a real commitment to going to your club. And it should deserve a real answer from you. So you can set up a promise payment date. So you can commit to a date when you settle up. If they're in good standing, then everything works out. That relationship stays alive. Again, this is something that is typically done through our FSB offering. Not much in MM that you can do here, but they can call into our FSB call center, set up a promise payment plan, and get back on track. Step 4 is rewarding your regulars. So most retention talks, they stop at save the at risk. That's more of a defensive maneuver. So for offensive maneuvers like this, you're going to want to pull the opposite list of the absentee. You're going to want to find your members with high check-in counts in the last 30 days, people that you see every day in your club when they walk in. When I worked at a gym, there was people that came in every day at the exact same time. And those are the people that can build your club organically better than any Facebook ad can. Because it's the face-to-face talk with their friends, their family. Hey, this gym's awesome. I go here every day. Mike, the owner's a great guy. So these are your regulars. Didn't waiver in May, won't waiver in August. Sorry, I love what you do. So easiest yes you'll ever get in a referral. So first step to that is it starts with a conversation. So when that regular checks in, your front desk staff can say, who's a friend you'd bring on a guest pass this summer? That's it. It's not a campaign. It's just a question. And then 2 is a promotion to back it up. So say, if you sign this up, your friend gets a first month free, you get a first month free, however you want to fit your model there, is the way that you can do that. And it's a very powerful tool. I've seen it. I've experienced it. They say there's no such thing as a free lunch, but there is such a thing as a free month at the gym if you run these promotions. So every canceled member you save in step 2 saves you the cost of acquiring a new one. Every referral you bring in here grows you into the next quarter. So I would say run both of these, and you'll see your club member expansion go up. So 3 things you should do this week, just to get in the habit of doing it, is run the absentee report. So whatever your number is, run it, sort it, pick the names in your list, and you'll reach out this week. One thing about this, I would say, if you're not using check-in, you should start using that. It's going to help you a lot in understanding exactly who's coming into your club. And whether you use it in MM or not, I would say it's very important that you actively run a check-in system in some way, even if it's just a paper sheet, to let you know who's actually coming in and who's not. Second would be to make a freeze list. So of those names that you haven't seen come in for a while, who would you rather pause than lose? That's your June freeze, and then have the conversation with each of them within a week. And then 3 would be to identify your top 20 regulars, brief your front desk on the referral question, 1 sentence for check-in. Who would you bring, right? who do you think would like to come here and try out the class, try out the club, try out the program? Um, Very powerful tool. So now the last thing that I want to talk about is some of the things that are coming up next that are related to this. Um, just to give you an idea of what's shipped and what's coming, we're constantly working on new things. We're constantly trying to evolve the product from since I've came on here in November of last year, or 2024. We've evolved drastically from where we were. So with that, the first part of it is the contract renewal start date selection. That is something that is in production now. That's available. So when a contract renews, you can pick a renewal start date directly instead of chaining contracts together. This was a huge issue. It's a great thing for member portal where it's available. You have self-service contracts where if I know my contract's running out on the 14th, I can go in there today. I can click. I can purchase the contract to start directly on the 15th. There's no lapse. What goes into that as well is the lifecycle automation. So 5 big member moments: self-registration, your first contract that gets sold, a trial that's expiring, a contract that's expiring, and a contract that's been canceled. Each one of these will be able to fire off automated actions. So email, text, a task, an alert for them in the portal. Watch list starts to build itself. This is the answer to automating the absentee outreach that many raised. If I have somebody who, and it also works on the other end, right? If somebody buys a contract, I want to make sure that I'm consistently in contact with them in their first couple of weeks, because typically that's when you'll see a lot of the first measure cancellations come in, is within those first few days. They sort of get the buyer's remorse and say, am I really going to use this? And they try to cancel the contract. But having these automations in place to either send an email, say, how's your first couple of days going, or set up a task alert for your staff is a game changer there. And then what we're also working on now that'll be coming out around Q4 is a unified custom report builder. So we have about 40 reports in MM right now. Most of them are canned reports. What we're going to work on is to give you the ability, it's your data, you can use it how you like, build, save, and reuse your own report views, show and hide columns, apply your filters, export. Today, the reports are static. They're shaped by us. Soon they'll be shaped by you. And then what I would also tell you is that we are open and actively listening to any recommendations that you have. Our customers are the crown jewel of how we develop things, and listening to them is key for us. So with that, if we have any Q&A, we can go through that, or if we want to save those and go through the demo, we can do that as well.
Yeah, how about we do the QA at the very end so that we can get the demo done first, if that's okay, Michael.
Sure.
Awesome. I'll let you guys get back to it.
That's my turn to do stuff. Hey, so I will walk you through a quick demo of how we can do some phrases. It is a very simple and straightforward process, thankfully, especially if you have MM. So once you're signed in, obviously, we've already created our list. Like Michael Brandt said, we pulled our absentee report. We're looking at it now and seeing, oh my goodness, like Isaac hasn't checked in forever. Maybe I'll reach out to him and offer him a freeze. And they agree. So let's put that in now. Let's see if we what our options are. The first place we're going to go to is sales here on the left. So it's going to bring us into this menu, and then we're going to click on edit contract. Once we're on this page, we can look it up by first name or last name. I'm going to look up by last name in this situation because I have one that's ready. And we can see here that this is the contract I want to freeze, right? I can click on the number here, number 18. And it's going to bring me up this. It's a whole bunch of information about how their contract is set up at the moment and what the terms are going to be for them. But what we really want to focus on is down here at the bottom where it says actions. We have the option from here to select edit payments, edit auto renewals, freeze contract, or terminate contract. I'm going to quickly look at edit payments because one of the benefits of the freeze options that we have is that freezes happen either at the contract level or at an invoice level. So we have both options available to you. If we click on edit payments, you will see that it's going to load all the payments for this person, what they are, when they're going to happen. And you can see here on the right that there's an option to freeze. So if I were to click freeze on this August 12th one, you'll see that the screen's going to refresh. And we're going to see that this invoice is now showing a status of frozen. What's good to know though is that that also added on that additional 13th payment here at the end. And if I need to, let's say they come back and say, actually, you know what, I don't need to freeze it anymore. Clicking unfreeze should reload the page here. And you can see that that 13th payment gets taken off automatically. So it's always going to stick to the terms, always going to stay to what they'd originally agreed to. And it doesn't take very long in order to, give them that option to freeze an invoice. Maybe they just need to take a break for a month. But as I mentioned, we also have the option to do it at a contract level. So if we click on freeze contract instead, we're going to be brought to this menu here, which is how long would you like to freeze the contract? So I could say, I want to start it today, and we're going to freeze this all the way up until August 31st. And would you like to freeze any of the outstanding invoices? We can ignore that. It's a contract that I haven't paid, obviously. Um, and we could if we wanted to, and it would just extend the length of the contract, but we'll leave that as is. But you can see that freezing the contract starting here to here, we can click continue. Please verify before we confirm. So it's just going to get you to double check, make sure you're putting in the right dates that you had agreed to with the member. And you can see here that it does let you know about the contract end date, and the auto renewal dates will change based on the freeze. So now if we click on freeze invoices, you can see that we're going to click OK. It's going to reload. If we click on the 18 again, and then if we click on edit payments, you're going to see that all of these payments were automatically frozen. And then again, payment 13, 14, and 15 were all also already added to make up for that those frozen invoices that had been changed. So freezing, super simple. Like Michael Brandt said, it's a great tool to have in your back pocket. Summer is a time when people are going to step away from the gym. Maybe they're spending a lot of their time outdoors or on vacation. So give them the option to freeze and have control over their membership in that way without losing them, without pushing them into a cancellation, is a great tool to have, especially this time of year. So yeah, that's a quick freeze. I could show you one really tiny quick thing as well. Michael Brent did touch on it, was adjusting invoices. I can show you that really fast here because I have an invoice I can adjust. Um, you can see that if I were to click on that invoice for that person, it brings me back to this menu here. So I can see the full invoice, and kind of like what Michael Brandt was saying, if you click on adjustments here, you can adjust this to whatever value you want to. So you could do that comp option, like you were saying, where you can take it down all the way to 0, giving people the option to continue their contract and, reward that honesty of like, hey, like maybe I can't make the payment this month, and rewarding those members. And you can leave notes like Michael Brandt was saying as well. It's like, comped for loyalty or whatever you wanted to put in here, and then click save and save. And now that invoice is zeroed out, and that person doesn't have to have that worry about having owed you money and not able to pay you, and keeping them. Again, just another great little tool you have that you can use with your members to keep them engaged and keep them happy with everything that's been going on. So yeah, quick little demos. Hopefully that helps you see how easy it is to use Member Manager to manage, this summer period. And that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Isaac. So from here, I'm just going to take over sharing real quick. Do. Oh, 1 second there. There. This is complicated. Okay. I hope that it's sharing my screen. Are you guys seeing my presentation?
It's a black screen for
Yeah.
me.
Oh no. Um, oh no. 1 second there. For some reason it says resume. I'm not sure why. Well, that's okay. I will stop sharing. And I'll try one more time. Bear with me here, folks. Technology's hard. All right. Is it working now?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. All right, so I just wanted to reiterate if you didn't get the chance to be able to access your resources, feel free to scan the QR codes here on the screen. I'll also be sending them to you tomorrow in an email as well, along with the recording. But I'll give you just about 10 seconds to scan those as you see fit. And I did want to mention that actually Michael Brandt had put in one of the examples that was from the freeze and cancellation response scripts. So shameless plug there, but I had a lot of fun writing these. I think that they would be very valuable to someone who's navigating a really large dip from people canceling in the summer. So I hope that these are of value to you and help you to have those meaningful conversations and keep people coming back to your gym. Another thing I did want to mention, oh, I didn't know I had these slides. My bad. I did want to mention that if you are ever wanting to see our other guides or want to download the guides again, or just have someone in mind that are in your community who would benefit from them, all of them can be available within our blog under the guides section. But at membersolutions.com/blog, all of our scripts, guides, and blogs are available there. If you're interested in learning more about our platform, feel free to hit us up. Our colleague Avery is a really nice person and is there to genuinely help you see if our solutions would be the best fit for you, or at least help you understand any billing assessment gaps that you may have, so that you're able to have some guidance on making billing an easier process for you and your members. So if you are interested, please feel free to schedule a 15-minute billing conversation with Avery through this code right here. And the last thing I did want to mention was that if you are interested in learning more about member solutions, but you don't have a time for a call, we do have a virtual tour available on our website under the platform tour page, but you can also access it from this QR code as well. The last thing that I wanted to say was that we are ready for our Q&A. Let's see. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen here. So does anyone have any questions for our product manager, for our implementation team? I don't see anything coming in right this second. Well, while we're waiting for some questions to come in, I did want to let you guys know that we're going to be having another webinar close to the end of the month in June. It's on June 23rd at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm actually going to be hosting it as the presenter, where I'm going to be showcasing to everybody how to write an effective newsletter to keep members engaged and excited to learn more and engage with your gym, dojo, or fitness center. We're going to talk about how to design it, how to make it look nice, what to link in it, and what not to link. So I think that'd be a really fun, very creative session, and I'm really excited to see you there. I'm going to share within our chat the link in case you want to sign up. Where did I put that invite? There we go. All right, so if you want to click on that link, it'll take you to the Zoom meeting link and you can register there. I'll also be sharing some free templates to be able to help you get started and set up quickly if you don't even have a newsletter. That way you can, you're able to how do I say this? So that you can build out your newsletter quickly and get it started and launched with your members. All right, I don't see any questions come in. But if you guys do have any questions that come to mind after our session, please feel free to reach out to, I do believe, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, it's feedback@membersolutions.com.
That's correct.
Awesome. Well, that is everything for me today. Did you guys have anything further that you wanted to discuss before we ended our session?
Huh. It was a pleasure talking to everybody here about how you can utilize MM.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.